Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is HolyLord, and today I'm going to talk about my item build about Barbarian and Magic Find. First of all, your main stat you're going to try to get is Magic Find, passive Magic Find. Let's begin with the helm. As you can see, I don't have a pretty awesome helm. We're going to discuss the low end of an item you can get and the high end of an item you can get. For helm, if you're just beginning, try to get high strength, some armor, a magic find, but not in a socket. When you're searching the auction house, just search for the prop itself, magic find, and search for a socket, and socket it with a magic find gem. I'm using bonus experience because at the moment I'm farming XP and paragon levels, but if you're just gonna go straight to item hunting, or you need a magic find boost, you're gonna go with the magic find gem. 3% critical hit chance is fine for helmets. If you want to go high end, you need vitality or a percentage of life as a prop. Plus, you need all resistance in the helm. And that takes care about the helm. But also do know that the helmet and the amulet are the two main magic find items you can get. They have the highest amount of magic find as a prop. After the amulet, I still don't have money to buy a decent amulet regarding magic find. But as you can see, I have a pretty decent DPS one, and I don't want to downgrade just to get some more magic find because I have a high enough passive magic find as it is. But if you're just starting out, try to get strength, vitality, critical hit chance, and magic find. I mean, if you go with critical hit damage plus critical hit chance and magic find, that's gonna be pretty expensive. Not to mention if you want to go with vitality and strength, that amulet would be like best in slots if you can find one on sale and you have money for it to buy it. Bracers, basically. For bracers, as you can see, I don't have a lot of gold. Also, my gear is not like exactly finished, but I don't think I'm gonna upgrade it. But if you're just starting out, for a low end bracer, you need to get some strength. Try to get a lot more vitality on bracers. Plus, 50 all resistance is a minimum. You're gonna need to get 50 all resistance on every armor piece you can get, because it's your second damage mitigation. For your first damage mitigation is armor, plain old armor. Try to get level 62 plus items as in item level, because they give the highest armor amount, and armor mitigates all the damage you receive. That counts towards magic, ranged, and melee damage. It doesn't matter, it mitigates it. As you can see, buffed, I have 6,800 armor. That's 70% reduced damage from every mob. And it keeps me alive. I farm pretty easily, Act 3. Plus, regarding all resistance, you need to aim to get around 800 all resistance, because that's the how can I say it? Well, the amount you need to the perfect amount. If you go higher, it has such a mitigation that it's not worth it. I mean, yes, it's gonna give you like a 2 or 3% reducage, but it's just not worth it for the money. Okay, next item, the chest or the chest armor. As you can see, I don't have one of the best chest armors also. It's mediocre, but it has high all resist, a decent amount of magic find, and a lot of vitality. What you want to get? Try to get more strength, because this armor limits me in regards of DPS because of the low strength. Try to get less vitality, more strength, 50 plus all resistance, and magic find. The more you can get, the better. Same, you can try to get armor plus armor prop. As stated earlier on, armor means survivability. Shoulders. I got these awesome shoulders in a sale. I just found them. Someone sold them for a pretty cheap price. But those are the shoulders you need to aim for. basically the perfect ones. Get high strength, get a lot of all resistance, 50 plus again. Either go with percentage of life or straight vitality. For my build, item build, I prefer straight vitality, but as I said, I got these of Vaseo and they're like pretty nice. And of course, Magic Find. Next up, the gloves. These gloves are pretty cheap, nothing special. You should go for high strength, Magic Find, and critical hit chance to begin with. If you want to go with the higher tier, not as in item level tier or an armor tier, just as in uh, the actual amounts of stats, you should go with strength, vitality, critical hit damage, critical hit chance, and Magic Find. That would be almost the best in slot if you can manage to find one for sale and have the money to buy it. So, rings. Rings are pretty similar for me. Strength, vitality, all resist, critical hit damage, and Magic Find. You can change the critical hit damage to critical hit chance. It doesn't matter. Both of them are good. As you can see, my second amulet is kind of similar, but it doesn't have strength and vitality because it's an earlier version. I bought it when I started getting this guy. And it has a higher Magic Find. Don't go for like 17, 18, or 19 or plus percent because that's pretty expensive. If you're just beginning, like 12% is fine to start off with. Also, for critical hit chance, try to get at least 40% critical hit and at least 300 critical hit damage increase. Because if you get high enough critical hit chance, but not enough critical hit damage, you're gonna crit a lot for not that much damage. It's gonna be small. It's not gonna be worth it. You need to balance it out. If you go for a high critical hit damage, like let's say 600 or 700%, and you're gonna have like 20% critical chance, it's also not worth it. Yes, you're gonna hit for like 500,000 damage, but you're gonna hit only with 20% chance. It's just not worth it. Try to balance it out. As you can see, I have a pretty decent amount. Plus, with this buff, with my build, I get 3% more, which means 47.5% critical hit chance. So I crit almost every second hit. Okay, the belt I'm gonna explain a little bit later on. Off to the pants. Same thing here. Strength, vitality, all resist, Magic Find. I didn't have money to buy like high all resistance pants, nor I need it because I'm almost at 800 all resists. I don't have much of a problem surviving anything. But if you're starting out, try to get pants like these. 100 plus strength, 100 plus vitality, around 50 all resist, and Magic Find. Plus, don't forget, intelligence for a barbarian and for every class gives you all resist. Basically, 10 intelligence gives 1 all resist. But in this case, it gives 9 because of the rune I have. 50% more. It gives 9 or 9.5, somewhere around there. Okay, so boots. This is a pretty expensive piece of gear you can get. There are two versions, low end and high end again. The low end, I have mediocre ones. These are not like high end, high end. You need to go with strength, vitality, 50 plus all resist, and Magic Find. As you can see, I have on these almost maxed out Magic Find and almost maxed out all resist. But if you wanna go to the next level, and you're a Whirlwind Barbarian, which is the most important thing, you need to get movement speed. You need to get all these properties, strength, vitality, all resist, Magic Find, plus movement speed. But those boots cost around 50 plus millions, so they're pretty expensive. Weapon. As you can see, I'm using a Scorn. A pretty decent Scorn. Not the best one, but pretty decent. I like Scorn because, for me, it's the best item for a Whirlwind Barbarian. It gives almost every hit a chance to inflict bleed, which as you can see, and can go from 5,000 damage to 12,000 damage. uh, on, let's call it, every hit. Plus, it can proc with your tornadoes. So as a Whirlwind Barbarian, you just grind through mobs and leave a path of tornadoes which can inflict bleed by themselves. They hit for a decent amount of damage, plus your bleed hits also for a decent amount of damage. It's like double damage. You can just I don't even stop for mobs. I just run whirlwind through them and they die from the bleed and tornadoes. Also, why I'm using two-handed axe, or actually two-handed weapon. First of all, I'm using an axe because of the passive, which gives you 5% increased critical hit when using axes and hammers. But I'm gonna discuss my skill build, my farming routes, and related stuffs in another video. But back to the weapon. Two-handed weapons have the highest actual damage per hit. They're slow. I have some friends that are telling me I don't want to go with that because it's pretty slow. But the thing is, your tornadoes are based off of weapon damage. So the higher damage you can have, or you have on a weapon, the higher damage your tornadoes are gonna deal. I don't care if it's slow attacking. I'm not like literally standing on a mob and hitting it. I'm just like swirling through it and leaving a path of awfully damaging tornadoes, which is why I'm using a two-handed axe. And the last thing I found out yesterday is a build called Thundergod's Vigor. This build has everything you need, well, almost everything you need as a barbarian. It's especially good if you're a whirlwind barbarian because it gives you strength, it gives you vitality, it gives you armor, it gives you fury, which is a pretty unnecessary thing if you're going for a whirlwind build because you're running out of fury a lot. And after the fury nerf, like not exactly the fury nerf, but the proc chance on this rune, on the shout, you're gonna have a harder time managing your fury. But this gives some extra like boost. Another important thing is this build on maximum gives 20% reduced damage from melee attacks. Judging that most of the times you're gonna be close to a mob, it's gonna hit you in melee range. This only reduces melee damage, or the physical damage a mob can, like, not as in physical resistance, but literally it needs to touch you. That's gonna count towards melee attacks. If they shoot at you, cast spells, do AoEs or whatsoever, that's another thing. It doesn't count toward this reduction. Also, it reduces lightning attacks, which are those pesky lightning enhanced mobs, which deal a pretty decent amount of damage when you have tornadoes on because it procs a lot. Also, it has a prop, which is going to be helpful for all of you. For me, it's bash damage. Increased bash damage because I'm using bash as my main attack. But you can get everything like revenge, reduced like fury cost, increased critical hit chance on that spell, and so on. But the most important thing about this build is the chance to cause shock balls. That's like a lightning AoE. A mob can like, well, not exactly explode, but just release it. And I bought a pretty high chance for it, 44%. And the most like awesome thing about it, it can proc off tornadoes also. So basically, if you're a Whirlwind Barbarian with a Scorn in this build, you're gonna have damage from tornadoes, you're gonna have damage from bleed without even being there. Tornadoes are gonna do your job. Plus, every tornado, like let's say you tornado 10 mobs in a group, those 10 mobs each have 44% chance of releasing a shock pulse, which is gonna hit the nearby mobs, which is pretty awesome. So that takes care of the items itself. As you can see, those are my stats. Buffed, resistance are enough, damage reduction, and the most important thing, Magic Find. 235% passive Magic Find. 300 is the cap. Basically, don't go over 300 because it won't count. towards your Magic Find. Also, Valor, Nephilim Valor buff doesn't count towards these percentages. It's like a bonus. The maximum amount you can get is 300 passive and 75 from Nephilim Valor. Then you're gonna rain, well, basically mobs are gonna rain yellow items, rare items. You can get up to 5 rare items from a mob, which just imagine if 2 of them are at least level 63. That's gonna be a lot of money, and we all love money. So, a boost to this, the passive Magic Find, can be your follower. First of all, if you're just beginning a barbarian and have hard time surviving, you need to get the Enchantress, because she has this skill that increases your armor and slows the attackers down by 30%. As you can see, it's pretty helpful to begin with, but the problem about the Enchantress is she cannot carry a shield, and the shield is a big Magic Find increase. That's why, as I have decent items, I can survive fine without her. I use the Templar because he can carry every Magic Find item. Try to get for him the 300 spear, the old version, which gives Magic Find as a weapon. There are only like 2 or 3 weapons in the game that actually give Magic Find, so this is one of them. It was pretty cheap. I don't know the prices now, but before it costed like 200k gold. Shield, pretty cheap overall. You don't need to get any stats. You don't need to get survivability or damage or whatsoever on your follower, because even if he dies, Magic Find still persists and counts towards yours, so you don't need to worry about it. You just need to have it. 20% is a must on a shield because it's pretty cheap. You can get it like 50k a shield. Amulets and rings. Jewelry should be just plain old Magic Find, and try to get as much as you can. The problem with followers Magic Find is it doesn't give you the full amount. Basically, this amulet, for instance, won't give me 33% Magic Find. It's gonna give me around 5 or 6 or 7%. I don't know exactly how much, but do know that. And that's about it. Yep. Oh yeah, also, another important thing I have on my build, or actually I don't have. As you can see, I don't have any lifesteal, I don't have any life on hit, I don't have any life regen. How I heal? When an elite mob, for instance, drops 1/3 of its HP, it drops a big health globe, which almost heal me to full. That's my tactic of healing. Small mobs, they don't do a lot of damage, so I just grind through them. They drop small orbs, which is enough to keep me alive. As for elites, as I stated, I heal off healing orbs. I don't have any problems with molten mobs, electric mobs, or reflect damage mobs or whatsoever. They're harder than usual, but with my damage, and you should aim to get as much as damage as you can, because if you have low enough damage, you won't be able to out heal the damage the mobs are gonna do to you, and that's gonna be like a brick wall. But for me, it's not a problem. So try to get as much damage as you can. You're gonna get the feeling if you have enough damage, because I rarely die. When I started, I died a lot, but now even with Whirlwind build and Magic Find, which means I sacrificed a lot of survivability, a lot of damage, and so on, I still don't have any troubles. So that's about it, guys. Hope that helped. If you have any questions, add me in the game or ask in the comments.